Kia ora tātou. Welcome to the Flips lecture for Youth Motivation and Sport, topic for week 4. Just a quick introduction because week 4 is going to operate a little bit differently to the last 3 weeks. Our workshop this week is going to be practical based on the UniRec gym, really based on our previous 2 weeks looking at theories of motivation. So I'm hoping that you have time to review the Flips lecture prior to coming to class on Monday morning. The class on Monday is primarily going to focus on applying the Flips lecture content with the sort of workshop style activities that we normally do on Wednesday. So the Flips lecture is going to examine the psychological basis for why we need to change youth sport, why it needs to be run in a different manner to adult sport, and what some of the problems are with how youth sport is being run today. Some of the examples we'll look at are American, however there are very strong similarities to how New Zealand sport and New Zealand youth sport in particular has changed in recent years. So we're going to have 3 key questions that we address. How are children different to adults in terms of psychological and motor skill development? How are youth sports run? And what are the strengths and weaknesses of this? And how can youth sport be improved? So in this week's Flips lecture, you're going to have some options about what you can do. So the first thing is that I've uploaded 3 TEDx talks to the playlist. I want you to choose one of them. They all cover the same broad issue, just from a slightly different perspective. Each of the 3 talks are very good, and so it's really just trying to give you some choice and some variety. I'd like you to take notes on what gets raised as the key issues and what gets suggested as key suggestions. While each of these talks are quite good, they're not strongly based in psychological principles, and what we're going to do is add some of the psychology behind the arguments that these talkers are making. Sorry, I should say speakers are making. So then the second step is to add some more psychology around child development and so on. And so that's where your second clip, which is on Piaget, who's a developmental psychologist, and his delineation of developmental phases of reasoning and thinking that all children go through. So watch that carefully and take some notes on those different developmental milestones from birth, but particularly through those middle childhood years. Third step, that is something active for you to do. I would like you to do an internet search for the phrase, for the terms phases of motor development. I want you to find out some information about the differing developmental phases of motor skill development. You might initially find that these are primarily from birth to age 1 or 2. What I want you to do is make sure that you find the developmental phases up to around about the start of teenage years. And again, take some notes there, and there'll be a question based on phases of motor development in the quiz. The final thing for the Flips lecture is to download the coaching analysis worksheet that I've uploaded to Moodle, and fill out this worksheet while you're watching the 2 videos that I've uploaded of Coaches in Action. So there's positives and negatives in both of these videos, quite contrasting videos in many respects. And what we're going to do is we'll just do some analysis of the behaviours of the coaches, the way that the trainings or the halftime speech for one of them is structured, to try and identify where those strengths and weaknesses are. So good luck, and if you have any questions, put me a message via Moodle.